Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim. I just watched a new 2023 movie called Walden, and it's a weird kind of good movie. Not a movie that I think I would have normally watched, but I'm going to read two different synopses because one synopsis on one site has it listed as a horror thriller, and it's about Walden Dean, who is a stenographer whose mind witnessed all types of injustices in the courtroom after discovering he has a terminal illness. Repressed anger deep within him surfaces, taking justice into his own hands in the most gruesome ways imaginable. That was the horror thriller synopsis. And then on IMDb, it's listed as just a thriller. And that synopsis is: Walden Dean is an unassuming court stenographer in a small southern town. When he discovers he is dying, he decides to exact revenge on criminals who escaped their prosecution. Similar synopsises. This was written and directed by Mick Davis. It stars Emile Hirsch as Walden Dean, our main character. Um, excuse me. Shane West plays Detective Bill King, and Tania Raymonde plays Detective Sally Hunt. And you may recognize her. In 2013, she was in the Texas Chainsaw 3D. She played the slutty best friend. She's a detective in this, and she looks like she could have been like a detective in like the Saw franchise. Like when I saw her in this, I thought, was she in Saw? But she wasn't. So we have David Keith, very recognizable veteran actor, plays Judge Boyle, and Steve Colter plays Jesse Dean. He's also kind of recognizable. There's a lot of other cast members in this. The other main character would be Luke Davis, and he plays General George. He's a very interesting character. And Kelly Garner, who plays Emily Duperon, and she's a sort of love interest of Walden, but also competing stenographer, as Walden is um, involved in a stenography contest to, excuse me, be deemed like the world's best stenographer. Kind of strange. So, yeah, this is from Uncorked Entertainment. It's 101 minutes. It is really a lot of thriller. The exacting revenge, while it is prevalent in this story, and it's really a big part of Walden's character, I wouldn't say that it's actually like the forefront for the entire movie. There is a subplot of this small town being plagued with years worth of missing children, particularly boys, that have all gone missing. And like there's like the subplot, and we get red herrings and we get like little hints to that subplot until it becomes the main plot in the third act. And that's after kind of Walden has really kind of taken on this um, kind of vigilante-esque type personality. There are definitely some interesting ways that he goes about exacting revenge. Um, and there is also like a thread that I typically don't like, but in this movie, for some reason, it worked for me because it wasn't like crammed down the audience's throat. But there's like this religious, churchy kind of thing. There are a few scenes in church. There is a really good interaction between the detective while he's in church on a Sunday mass, and his interaction because of his frustration level with there having just been another recent case of a missing boy. Um, so they do a really good job of kind of doing some story. So uh, when I realized this wasn't going to be the horror movie that I was looking for to do a review. By the time I got to that point, I was interested enough in finding out what what was going to go on, like how far were they going to take Walden. Um, his character is very unique. The actor that plays Walden did a good job. I found him kind of annoying at first. Like he's got a speech pattern. This is in Georgia too, so sometimes Southern accents kind of aren't done well, uh, and that can kind of tweak me a little bit of my interest of a character. His wasn't any of those things. It's just his character. It's just Walden, and once you kind of get used to that, after a couple of 10 minutes or so, everything is fine. Um, so his story, his background and life, we get like a lot of that all built up for us, so we know where Walden is by the first, 20 or so minutes. And then Walden kind of takes a shift when he stops a robbery in progress, at a pharmacy, a drugstore, and that kind of changes his thought process. He's kind of traumatized by it, but he's also kind of like, this person got what they had coming to them. There's a lot of interesting like insights into Walden's head. We have some courtroom drama a few different times, some very gruesome uh, court cases. In particular, there was the very opening, um, one of the early opening scenes was a court case with a guy who did like a horrific, brutal murder of his own daughter, and then, found guilty, but then let go because of the snafu in the court system with something not being done correctly with evidence or whatever. And then that's what kind of um, gives Walden this kind of like, that's not fair. He makes a goodbye kind of prayer to God, and says, look, I can't, this is unacceptable that people can do this and then get away with it. And, forgive him for what he's about to do, and good luck in your future endeavors, he basically says to God, which I thought was kind of clever. And so he takes things into his own hand, and then it kind of, we get a few more of those type scenarios through the movie as we really start to develop that subplot, and we get the like red herring characters. There was a few different people um, that I thought it could be the killer, and I was hoping they were actually going to resolve it. For a couple of minutes I thought, oh, maybe they're just going to have that be a subplot and not actually resolve, but they do, thankfully, and they do it in a really good way. There's a clever reveal. I don't know that by the time that it's revealed that it's a twist so much, but I think it was intended to kind of be a twist because of the red herring type scenarios that were going on. But it was an interesting reveal, to say the least, and it was done very different than other movies, so I did appreciate that. So the only probably minor thing that I would have with this movie is that it leaves it open for Walden to continue vigilantism. Um, but the whole other subplot of this illness, this terminal illness that Walden has, it's never resolved. It's not explored into depth much more. Um, there is like this love interest type thing that kind of went nowhere. So the unresolved part of the illness kind of is just it. That is the only real minor thing that left a bad taste in my mouth. Other than I was originally looking for a much more horror uh, movie. Um, Not to say that there isn't some gruesome themes, but I would suspect this. I didn't check to see what it was rated. I don't see a rating on it. I would argue that it's probably PG-13, or it could be definitely if they had gone for a rating on that. But yeah, if you're interested in kind of like an interesting, different story that's a thriller, check out Walden. It just came out December 12th, I think, was the official release date in the US. But let me know in the comments down below if you're going to check out Walden. And have a great day and keep checking back to the channel for more great stuff.
Row 18, plot 20.